Okay, I'll pick up kind of where I left off last video when it was getting a little too dark to show anything, especially kind of in my tucked back areas. Back here, behind the big flavicins and my big Biniotaki is Goshiki Shidari. As I break branches on my flavicins trying to get back here. This one's gotten pretty big over the years. It's probably 4 feet wide and maybe 2.5 feet tall. It's hard to get it all in, especially since it's behind a juniper and all these other trees. But it's Goshiki Shidari. Very similar to Toyama Nishiki. This one you have to prune the reversions out on. Beautiful tree though. I mean, look at all that white. Some pink new growth. There's a little bit of red in it. The red turns green, but all the parts that are green are kind of a reddish or bronzy color when it first comes out. Awesome tree. One of my favorite trees, really, that I have. This right here, got a little crispy on the top from sun. This is Acer Fabry. Faber's maple. So that's in Section Palmata, but it doesn't really look like something from Section Palmata. It's from the other series, which is Pinninerva, I believe, something like that. Anyway, that is can't think of it right now. It's a hime. Karahime? No, that's not Karahime. I'll come back when I remember the name. I don't know if I got this one on the last video. I probably did. This is Tenuifolium. This one kind of spreads through this whole back area. Right back here, it's kind of recovering this year. Hesitant to even show it because it doesn't look that great. But this is Fujinami Nishiki. It's starting to come out. You can see the different colors from there to there, but it's got branches that aren't out. It's real kind of patchy looking. It's recovering this year. Last year it had a rough year. So still going, still got the 2 different colors in it, but not nearly as impressive as it once was. I think next year it'll look good again. I'm hoping anyway. Fujinami Nishiki. Still can't think of the name of that one. It's a fairly common one anyway. I believe it means little princess in Japanese. So I'll think of it and I'll put the name on here by the time I release the video. It's not too impressive right now. It doesn't get a lot of sun back here. This is actually a better one for the sun. It'll have the secondary fleshes of kind of pink-red leaves over the green, which looks really nice. All right. That's just a kind of a bonsai sengokaku. Not that impressive, but it doesn't have very good form to it at this point. But it's got really cool, gnarly looking bark there. It got burnt at one point, and it's got nice nabari on it, so it's got that going for it. Hopefully at some point it looks nice. We have Uncle Ghost. So I haven't showed you my Uncle Ghost at this time of year. It's beginning of June, still spring, but not the bright pink colors I've showed in the past. But still very cool. I love this tree. Uncle Ghost. Uncle Ghost is an Acer amoenum. Not a palmatum, but an amoenum. I guess most of the ones that are called palmatum nowadays are actually amoenums. Or hybrids with amoenum, palmatum, shirasawanum, and whatever else in them. But they're all called palmatum most of the time. There's my big mystic macawa. Thing's gotten huge. Came out real slow because of the cool weather. We still barely gotten any warm weather. It's been like pretty cool, like in the 60s during the day. It's just a real cool spring, and everything has come out slow because of that. I got less color on most of my stuff this year because it was so cool. Mystic macawa. There's my Kauai. Kauai is getting pretty big. Love the shiny leaves on Kauai. Beautiful tree. This is a shirasawanum amoenum hybrid. Dissected leaves. Okay, I'll squeeze back here without breaking any branches off anything. There we have flying daggers, looking good. That's Acer pubipalmatum, flying daggers. Cool tree. Not flashy, but it's got nice growth. It kind of looks like a macawa type. It's not, but it has that look. At least at this size it does. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like as it gets larger. Here, starting to burn at the top. You can't really see it, but that's Jordan. I cut probably 3 feet or more off the top of this thing this year. It just was a big, tall column, and I knew pretty much anywhere I could put it, the top of it was going to get too much sun. So thought I would try to shorten it a little bit, but still really tall. Still gets a little bit too much sun for this tree. It burns pretty easily in full sun. At least for me it does. I mean, probably part of the reason is because I have it in a pot. If it was in the ground, it might acclimate a little bit better to a little bit more sun. But cool tree. I mean, it definitely takes on the shirasawanum traits. The seedlings I've gotten from it, for the most part, look very palmatum. So it definitely has a palmatum in its, or amoenum, but probably palmatum. Here's a couple actually seedlings growing from it. It definitely looks like palmatum more than it looks like shirasawanum, but it probably hybridized with who knows what in my garden. I've got so many different species. Could be hybridized with anything. Let's see back here. That is Acer levigatum, Hong Long. You can see the kind of red color. It looks kind of pinkish right there. But when it first comes out, the leaves are red. It's kind of sparse looking this year. This is growing a lot. This is a pretty fast growing tree. Already, you know, above the fence line. And I've only had it maybe 3 years, 2.5 years. So, Acer levigatum Hong Long. That's another. It's from section Palmata, more closely related to the Acer fabri there. And you can see the leaves are real similar. Acer fabrii always looks like a ficus tree to me. Very similar tree leaves to a ficus tree. This one back here, this with the red bark, coral bark, is a Cherries Jubilee. Definitely has some bright red stems in the winter. Still has pretty red, even as we're in late spring now. Still has some pretty red bark. Not as red as winter. Winter it was just extremely red. This one, this is an introduction by Conifer Kingdom. They claim that it has brighter red bark than any of the other ones. Honestly, I've had a few different types of coral barks. They all have bright red bark. I mean, if it's brighter, you can't tell by just looking at it. You'd have to put them, I guess, side by side, and maybe you can see the difference. This one's also supposed to be less susceptible to Pseudomonas. It also is I think more of a dwarf growing tree. Bought this one as a 1 gallon. I already have it in a 3 gallon. I've only had it just over a year now, but it was fairly large when I got it. Arrived to me pretty big. So this is one I'll have to observe over time to see if it really has something that makes it stand out from all the other coral barks. I mean, unless it has a completely different color bark, to me it's just another red bark. But if it has those qualities of being less susceptible to Pseudomonas, which is actually not a problem I have much of here, and but so I won't ever be able to really test that here. I mean, somebody that actually loses coral barks would have to try it and see if it survives. But anyway, Cherries Jubilee. Here we have Firefly. Found some little secondary fleshes here. Got all different colors. In the shade, it's more green and white. A little bit more sun. It contains some more pink. I tried keeping this one in the sun, more sun, and it doesn't really like it. So this area gets kind of dappled sun, as you can see. It's late afternoon now. I think it's about, I don't know, 6:30 or so. Firefly. Right here we have Hynosukasa. I don't have it in as much sun as I normally have in the past, so it's not as red. This one's very red, a nice blood good type Amoenum, Acer Amoenum, but it definitely needs the sun to retain the red. You put it in shade or even part sun, it doesn't seem to hold the red. I really like the leaves on it though. It's got those Osakazuki style Amoenum leaves on it. Not one you're going to see too often. I don't know if it'll ever become popular or not. This is a Japanese variety, Hynosukasa. There are a couple nurseries I've seen producing it out there. So if you're interested in this, I mean, maybe in some of my older videos I've shown it where it's more red and more sunlight. I actually don't mind this kind of green with a little bit of rust color on it. It's unique, looks good, mixed in with my other maples. So here we have a now green Acer Pseudoplatanus brilliantissimum. This one I've been cutting back pretty much every year now, I like it to stay kind of short so I can see the leaves on it. I don't want it to get too big. It's a slow grower anyway, but I've had it for a long time now, and so it's pretty good size. It does get like a white variegation on it. The leaves that get more sun have more variegation. If they are shaded more, they just kind of turn green. But even though the variegation's subtle, it's still pretty. I mean, even after all the pink fades, it's a good looking tree. I like it, and it turns a nice yellow in the fall. Here is Jade Dragon. Interesting tree. Seedling of Shishikashira. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Goshiki Kotohime. So mine's getting pretty good size now. It's close to 5 feet tall. It's not really a slow grower. I mean, I think I've heard that it's supposed to be a slow grower, but it puts on it's growing pretty fast for me. Grows at least 6 inches a year, I would say, which isn't fast, but it's not exactly slow either. Jade Dragon, Acer palmatum Jade Dragon. This weirdo, a lot of people think it is sick half the time because of its unusual coloring. This is Purple Curl. This is listed as a palmatum. I would say it's probably an amoenum, and maybe with some Shirasawanum influence, just by looks. I have no idea really though, but I would definitely say that it's probably not a palmatum. Could have some palmatum in it though. Like I say, all these things are so hybridized. Calling them palmatum, I guess, is fine because you don't really know. But a lot of the more flashy cultivars are actually Acer amoenum, and not. They have the characteristics of Acer amoenum, not Acer palmatum. And yes, Acer amoenum is different than palmatum. They are two different species. They're not the same. Makawa Yatsubusa. This one leafed out real slow this year. That's why it has these brighter colored leaves, because those didn't come out till just recently. I mean, this is a tree I probably should have repotted this year and put new soil in, but I didn't. I just one of the ones I didn't get to. So next year, I bet it'll look real nice if I keep it. This one might be one that I actually give away. I'm always giving stuff away because I run out of room. I've got a lot of smaller trees coming up. Need a place. So Makawa Yatsubusa, as much as I love it, and I do love it, I can get one anytime. They're available anywhere. So it's not something that I need to hold on to. I can always get one. They're looking nice, really spreading out, putting on some new growth. Some of the older growth is getting a little bit crispy from the sun, but still looks good overall. That's Dragon Master. I stake it a little bit. Probably need to redo the staking on it, but I kind of like how it's spreading out all over the place instead of just staking it up and letting it fall. It actually looks pretty nice like that. There's my big Veritas, looking good. Thing's getting big. I've had that for a long time. My wife got that for me quite a while ago. There we have Mr. Sun, Acer Shirasawanum. This one I always wonder if it's a... nobody ever says anything about it being a witch's broom, But it has that shortened internode, that shortened lobe on the leaves in the middle, like a witch's broom. So, interesting. Acer shirasawanum, probably hybridized with Amoenum, as a lot of the shirasawanums are. They're Shirasawanum x Amoenum, not Palmatum. One thing about Acer Amoenum is that it tends to come out and bloom later than Palmatum does. Palmatums come out pretty early, bloom pretty early. Shirasawanums also come out later and bloom later. So it's more likely that those two hybridize than Palmatum. But they're exceptions. There's so many cultivars now and so much hybridizing going on with it. You have some that look to be Amoenum, but they come out fairly early. Usually some of the dissectums, which are typically, most dissectums are Amoenum. So anyway, Mr. Sun. Here we have another favorite of mine, Amber Ghost, Acer Amoenum, Amber Ghost. You want to call it Acer Palmatum? That's fine. That's what they call it in trade, Acer Palmatum. But all the traits of Acer Amoenum, not Palmatum. Here we have gold coin. See those trippy leaves? The leaf cutter bees really seem to enjoy my yellow cultivars this year, which is interesting. And they really went to town on my gold coin. Just really chopping up the leaves. They like that yellow color when it was bright yellow. It's more green now. Gold coin, Acer Amplum gold coin. So anyway, yeah, because my mellow yellow is also has some leaves like this. So it's got to be a color thing. There's another one too. I can't think of what it was, but another one that they took what looked like little bites out of. Those are leaf cutter bees. Or wasps. But I guess they build their nests out of it. So anyway, interesting. Doesn't hurt the tree. Although, I mean, you could say it makes it look ugly. I don't know. Kind of looks interesting to me. Looks like it's a different cultivar because it really went around and got a lot of them on my gold coin. So interesting. Acer Japonica Makamote. This one's probably a hybrid with what, I'm not sure. Maybe Acer Amoenum. Who knows? Acer Japonicum. Has these kind of red tones on it. I don't know, maybe, who knows what it's a hybrid with. It's kind of got Circinatum vibes, but Circinatums, that would probably have to be done by humans, because Circinatums tend to leaf out very, very late and bloom very late compared to Japonicums. Japonicums are one of the earlier to come out and bloom. Here, good, nice and dark. Some lighter new growth. That is red filigree lace. Beautiful thin leaves on that one. And I think with that, I will save the rest of the trees for one more video. Cheers.